Good morning, 8:40 at News Talk 1150 WIMA. I'm Mike Miller. Coming up here in a little bit, hope to get some insight on some of the executive actions the president is proposing to expand the student loan program, paybacks, that sort of thing. Interesting developments. Yesterday, the president is suggesting that he'll be taking executive steps to help students with their loan debt. There is some legislation from the U.S. Senate, backed primarily by the Democrats, with similar goals. The president's pay-as-you-earn program will allow borrowers to pay no more than 10% of their monthly income in loan payments, a little bit of relief. Steve Scanlon is the co-founder of GuardVest, also is a financial strategist, going to put some of this into perspective. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, pretty good today. Steve, as you look at this, is this a genuine, honest effort by the president to help some of these student loan debt problems, you think?
Well, I mean, I think certainly the headline is very attractive for the president, and I think everybody can agree that, we'd love to see these kids get out of college not strapped for as much debt. But what the president has to answer, and certainly, his administration has to answer, is how are we going to pay for this?
Mm-hmm. Well, that was my next question, frankly, that certainly we'll talk about some of the parameters of this program. Does it let the students off the hook to a certain degree that the taxpayers will have to pick up, or does it just simply delay the payback?
Well, it certainly doesn't go away. What he's suggesting is that after 20 years, if you haven't missed any loan payments, then this debt will be forgiven completely. But that just doesn't go away. It's got to be financed by somebody. And so what the president is suggesting is that, the wealthier 1%, again, will have to step up to the plate to do this. And the thing that I found most egregious thing I saw yesterday, and I've been following this pretty closely, is that the Secretary of Education, Duncan, said, we're not really sure how much this is going to cost. We'll figure that out on the back end. So you can't do that. You have to know what this is going to cost, and you have to understand how we're going to pay for this. We've already got a meaningful debt burden as it is, and now we're basically just saying we'll figure this out later, and you just can't do that.
Right. Well, you can't do that, but in fact, they've done it in a whole host of things for the last few years, and you
can't do that and not have a way to figure out what it's going to cost. I mean, to not know what this is going to cost is really, really amazing to me.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's irresponsible, and of course, it's applicable with respect to the federal government as the broader debt just continues to explode, pushing well beyond $17 trillion. What about the aspect, Steve Scanlon, of executive action to expand this pay-as-you-earn program? Can that also just easily be done, or is there some obligation to go back to Congress for new legislation?
So there's some obligation to go back, obviously, to get exactly what the president wants to get done. But what he's basically saying is that if it's not this, it's going to be something else. I'm going to do something. It may not be exactly what it is that he's proposing right now, but yeah, he's basically going to exercise executive order to go do something to try to, in his mind, alleviate this burden. But he's also not really telling us how he's going to pay for it. The best I've seen so far is they estimate that it'll cost $59 billion, and he will tax the wealthier 1% $72 billion.
Wow.
But then again, by the same token, you hear his Secretary of Education say we're not really sure about that.
Okay, so any of the nasty details haven't really either come out or have been figured out. Quite frankly, as much as anything, this is a lot of fluff and bluster with not much behind it.
Without question, and he's going to go back to some of these financial institutions and offer financial incentives to renegotiate with these folks, and we don't know what those financial incentives are. And in addition to that, the government might get into the lending business, so the very people like the Sally Mays that he's going to go renegotiate with, he might be competing with here in a couple of years.
All right, looking for some financial accountability. I guess we have to just keep looking. Steve Scanlon.
Absolutely.
Hey, we appreciate your perspective. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks.
It's 8:45 from News Talk 1150 WIMA.